All right. Okay, so welcome back. It's been a while. Let's just recap. For quite a while, I was talking about how there's a good chance that Bitcoin would drop down to as low as maybe 40,000, maybe even in the 30,000s, 40,000s. That's still possible, but I think it's less likely, and I'll show you why. But let's start. We're looking at the monthly chart here, and back in March, we put in new all-time highs, and since then we've been putting in lower highs for the most part, and lower lows. So we had these 2 months were essentially the same. This was lower, that was a little higher. This was lower, that was lower. Then we came in a little higher, and then currently in October, which we're halfway through, so far we're higher. So that's the month we're in the middle of. In August, we came down, we wicked into this bullish inversion for value gap, where we had a SIBI over here and a BISI over here. We closed above it, and then we wicked into it along with this BISI, this monthly BISI as well, which we definitely respected. Respected the BISI. We did not close below it, or even anywhere near 50%. Let's see. Let's change this to quadrants and visibility. All right. So we hardly, only once did we even close inside it. So we've been quite bullish on that sense. Looking at the weekly, I've been pointing out that over here, for the first time, we had a bearish market structure shift on the weekly candle where we closed below swing low or intermediate term low over here. And the last time that happened was, that hasn't happened since we hit lows and then turned around in November 2022. It's happened prior to that repeatedly in a downtrend. So I kept pointing out that there's a really good possibility that we were going lower, but we didn't go lower. We went higher, although we didn't quite close above these recent highs. Came back down, wicked down on a weekly basis into the monthly inversion for value gap. These are weekly BISIs. Again, even on a weekly basis, we didn't close below the 50% mark, consequent encroachment of the monthly BISI. And then, we came down again and moved back up, putting in another BISI. Over here, when we moved up, there was no BISI. No, we didn't put in, there was no displacement with a fair value gap upwards. Also, not downwards. So this was like, we're just really going sideways with no strong indication either way. But this leg up, we did put in this BISI, and we closed above this swing high over here. So that is a bullish sign. And then 2 weeks ago, we came down and wicked through this weekly BISI, respecting it. Last week we did the same, and then this week we didn't even come into it. We started above it and it moved higher. So that's let's go down to the daily to look at that and see what's going on. So yes, over here we had that bearish market structure shift, and then we kind of came down over here again, even though we didn't go lower than this wick. But I guess what we could say is that, let's make this visible just on the monthly for now. If we, and I'm just learning this next bit here, but if we were to mark off quadrants on the wick here, which ICT treats as a gap, we see we respected 50% of that wick. So also that's just another bullish point, which I certainly didn't really think about previously, but there we go. All right, let's go down to daily. All right, we could take off these bearish market structure shifts there. So daily, we'd been in, a downtrend for a while over here, came back up. Actually, let's go to 3-day because I have 3-day marked off. All right, so I think it's a pretty clean chart on the 3-day. So 3-day, we see we came down. This is where we had the weekly bearish market structure shift, came back up into this 3-day SIBI. We did not close above consequent encroachment. That's the 50% mark, or at least it doesn't look like it from here. Maybe just above it slightly, assuming that my numbers are perfect there. And then we came back down, put in another balanced price range, but there's no follow through. So yeah, we have a SIBI over here, but then we close above it. We have a BISI over here, and then we close below it. So this is just a hallmark signature of sideways chop, where we're just going sideways, and we need to really wait for more information to understand what's going to happen. I think it's time. Actually, I'm going to leave this on still. All right, so that brings us to this week, where from this past Saturday, we closed this 3-day candle, putting in a BISI above the open of this candle, this leg down. All right, well, that's somewhat bullish, but then we're currently 1 day into this candle, so we have time. We came up into the SIBI and we've respected this bearish SIBI. So what's going to be next? I don't know. We're still in a situation where there's one BISI over here, right? Then we don't have any more BISIs until here, but over here we close below it. But then again, there was no bearish follow through, right? So we came back up, right? We had a SIBI over here, sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency, or bearish for value gap, and closed above that. Now we need to see, are we going to finally have bullish follow through? And if we do, then we can expect we're going to close above 70,062. And I would not be surprised if we have, if we close above this SIBI somewhere, obviously there's different levels you can point to, but if we close above 70,000, or what is the high of this candle? The high is 70,016. If we close above 70,016, I think that we're going to make all-time highs. I also think we're going to have a pretty big push quickly. That's my feeling, because above all of these swing highs, we have buy-side liquidity, and it's been sitting there, resting there for a while, being built up over, the whole year. And I think that as soon as we're, price is ready, we're going to just push right up. I don't know how we're going to go. Nobody knows. We can guess, but I'm not going to bother throwing out numbers. I just have a feeling that it's going to be a big candle. This is a big candle. This candle is 3,600. We probably would see $5,000 to $10,000 candle. This candle is just about 5,000. This downwards candle, this is almost 6,000. So we probably would see maybe even a $7,000 to $10,000 candle at some point, which would put us, I don't know. But again, that's probably guessing to a great degree. So don't take that. And I don't know when that would happen, but I just feel because of all the liquidity here, it's going to move fast. All right, now we're looking at the daily candle, and on the daily we have a bearish inversion for value gap. If we come all the way back to this candle here, where we have a BISI, form of BISI, but then we close it out over there. Chop around down here, come back up. We respected it back in September. Come down, come back up, and then we didn't close all the way above it, but we closed above consequent encroachment of it, the halfway point. And now today we're trying to figure out where we are. So today we wicked up into this 3-day SIBI as we saw prior, and we're respecting it. So, what's next? We have this SIBI up over here. This is a daily SIBI. That would be the next level. And we have the highs over here. 4 hour, as I actually haven't been buying a lot lately for a couple of reasons which are irrelevant here. need a new place to buy, I think. But I also been watching to see prices going down. When it finally really looked very strong, I did buy a little bit recently. And, we went up from there. Question is, where are we going from here? I buy with no plans to sell. So I'm in this for the long run, and, buy all the way going down, up and down, always trying to get a little bit of a discount, which I often did, but not always. All right, that's today's Bitcoin price analysis. Let me know what you think. Feel free to leave a comment.